Hey guys, kia ora, whakaalofa lahi atu, and welcome back to this week's podcast episode. Thank you for being here. Honestly, I cannot thank you enough for being here, whether you're on the podcast or you're on YouTube. I'm just so grateful that you have come to this space and allowed me your eyes and your ears and your presence. So I don't take it lightly. Thank you so much for being here. On this week's podcast episode, I am still answering my Instagram questions. And one of the questions that came up was, how do I overcome life's obstacles? And I thought this was a great question because a lot of the times things happen unannounced, shit comes up, things that we don't expect to come up. It's like you're on this journey to your goal, and you're like, cool, here's the starting point, here's the end point, and you just expect it to be straight. It's that, have you seen that? It's like a meme or a thing going around where it's like expectation versus reality. And it's like your expectations that it's from one line to the other to get to your goal, but the reality is there's ups and downs, there's bumps in the road, there's fucking times where you take 10 million steps back and then 10 million and one steps forward, shit like that. So I really want to talk about the expectation versus reality part because a lot of people struggle with it. It's like we're fighting with the expectation of what we think should have happened. We're fighting with reality. And if you know the work of Byron Katie, she says when you fight with reality, you lose 100% of the time. And that's a lot of the time what we're doing. We're fighting with, I shouldn't have lost my job. I shouldn't have had this health problem. I shouldn't have got injured. I shouldn't have these financial issues. I shouldn't have this. My relationship shouldn't have failed and broken down. My friendship should be great. I should have a boyfriend by now. I should have, there's all these expectations, and it's like, babe, what's the reality of it? What's actually happening? What's happening in your real life? You got fired. You and your partner broke up. You're going through a divorce. There's been this health scare. You've got injured, so you can't play that whatever sport anymore. That's the reality of it. And I think we spend a lot of time fighting instead of finding solutions, accepting, having self-compassion, all these things. So I think firstly, it's that acceptance, which is hard to get to. But when shit hits the fan, when things don't go the way that you think they're supposed to go, when obstacles come, it's like, cool, okay, trying to get to that place of acceptance. And before we even get there, it's so important that we acknowledge ourselves. We acknowledge how we feel. We have self-compassion. I'm huge on self-compassion, and it's so important. And if you don't already know the acronym I use, it's ACT, which is to have awareness for it, know what's happening, know how you're feeling and acknowledge yourself. You got fired. How do you feel? When I got fired, I felt like a failure. I was depressed. I thought, that I let my family down. I was like, damn, I finally got out the hood. I finally did something with my life, and now it means that I'm worthless. Now it means that I'm a bad person. Now it means that I'm a liar. And then you go through this cycle of hating on yourself and all the things. And it's like, sometimes you have to go through that. You have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge the feelings. You have to cry. You have to go through that depressive state. You have to go through all these things. So allow yourself to go through it. But I think the most important thing is, don't sit in that space too long. You've got to move. So be aware of what's happening. Journaling is great for that. Getting aware of what's going on in your head, what you're making that thing mean, that you're injured, you're making it mean X, Y, and Z, that your relationship broke down, which means X, Y, and Z. What are you making that thing mean? And acknowledge it. Acknowledge yourself. Give yourself time and space and all the things. You have to care for yourself. You have to decide and choose what you want to believe. And sometimes you might have to change the thought that you're thinking. I'm a failure because I got fired. No, how about, I got fired. Maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't work here. or maybe better things are coming. It doesn't mean I'm a failure. I got fired. Oh fuck. It fucking sucks, but I'm not choosing to make that mean that I'm a failure. I'm not choosing just because I had a divorce. I'm not choosing to believe that I'm worth nothing or that I'm shit at relationships or all relationships suck or all men, all women suck. It's like I'm not choosing to believe that. So what are you choosing to believe? And sometimes you have to change the thoughts that's happening in your head. If you're journaling and you realize, fuck, I'm just saying so many mean things to myself, deciding to change those things, having some care for yourself, hugging yourself, loving on yourself, choosing to speak kind words to yourself instead of you're a failure, this shouldn't have happened. It's like, what happened? This happened. How can I move forward? There's a part of being grateful and being thankful for where you are at this moment. Shit, I got fired from my job, but still, I'm grateful that I have a supportive family who's decided to, pay the rent for me right now. Or I'm glad that I don't live in a third world country. I'm glad that I can find a new job. I'm glad that I have my health to find a new job. It's a shit thing that my relationship ended, but I'm grateful that I'm still healthy. I'm grateful that I had that relationship in the first place because it taught me X, Y, and Z. So having that gratitude amongst all the shit as well. And I think a lot of the times when shit hits the fan, it's like everything fucking sucks. This sucks, that sucks. When I got fired, I was very much like that. I was so depressed. Everything fucking sucks. And it's like, does everything suck? Or is it just this one thing? Or does it just suck that you got fired? Does it just suck that your relationship broke down? Does it just suck that you got injured? Does one area of your life just suck? Instead of saying everything's fucked up, it's like pinpoint the thing that you're feeling and remember that it's just that thing. It's not a bad day. It's a bad moment. It's not a bad life. It's a bad moment. It's a bad moment in time. And how are you going to come back from that? So really getting clear, pinpointing what it is, because I'm sure it's not everything. And it might be one or two things. But please don't, turn around and say, my whole life fucking sucks. It's just one or two things suck at this minute in time, this moment in time. But I'm going to choose to recover and come out from it. And it's a process in itself. I'm saying all these things, but it's a process. Right now, you might be sitting in that, fucking everything fucking sucks mode, crying your eyes out and thinking, I don't know how I'm going to fucking overcome this. And that's okay. And that's a process, that's a stage. But these stages is, there's progression to it and you have to keep moving. It might be one day you sit in that shitty space. It might be a week. It might be a month. But you don't want to sit there for 10 years, So keep progressing over time. Give yourself that time and space and all the things, right? So I think the most beautiful part is when you come to this part of being open and deciding that you want to do something about it, making or creating a solution, getting in that solutions mindset. And it's a process, like I said, with everything else. It might be getting yourself around new people. It might be, getting rid of old friends. It might be going to your happy place. What is your happy place? For me, it was the beach. I had to go to the beach. I would fucking sit there and cry. I'd cry my fucking eyes out, feeling lost, feeling like a failure, feeling all these things, hating myself. And I'd sit there and cry and hear the waves and, go through it. And then I'd be like, okay, cool, that's out. Now, what's some solutions? What's the solution I can go forward with? What can I do? You might have financial issues. It's like, fuck, I got financial issues, but what can I do? I can apply for more jobs. I can sell some things in my home. I can cook meals for somebody and get them to pay. I could start a business. I could, getting into that solutions mindset to fill the gap where you are. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's too hard. I'm not going to try that, all these things. Would you rather stay where you are right now in that fucking pity party fucking, mode and be like, fuck, I tried something, it didn't work out. I'm not going to go for that goal, Or are you going to do something about it? Because a lot of people, when obstacles arise, they just give up. They don't do it anymore. Oh, it's too hard to get to their goal. Fuck it. And they just moan about it their whole lives. That's their identity. Oh, I was going to become a X, Y, and Z, but this happened, so I couldn't. Excuses. It's like, fuck that. How bad do you want it? Go and get it. Go get the thing, whatever the thing is, whatever the goal is. There's going to be obstacles. Be prepared. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Be prepared for it to be hard. And one of my mentors actually said to me a couple of weeks ago, we were on a call and I was like, fuck, actually it was early in the year. I think it was in February. We were on a call and I was like, oh, it's a bit hard now. It feels hard. Everything feels a bit hard. And he's like, be prepared for it to be hard. This is going to be your year of hard. It is going to be hard. Starting and building a business is hard. Doing what you're doing is hard. Stepping out and, all the things that I do is fucking hard. And that's why a lot of people don't do it. Because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So be prepared for shit to be hard. Know that life has obstacles. Be prepared for that shit. When an obstacle comes up, it's like, cool, I knew you were coming. I knew there was going to be a bump in the road. This is it. And fucking keep going. Be prepared for that shit. Armor yourself up and be prepared for that shit. So once you get into that solutions mindset, it's fucking amazing and it starts executing on those solutions. Some things might not work, but try something else until something works. Keep going, get into that solutions mindset. And you might have to reach out to a mentor like I do, a coach like I do, a coach like I am. Reach out to someone, get yourself around people who are doing things that you want to be doing. Ask your family and friends, your partner, the people that you love for help and support in these moments. So reach out and ask for help. And I want you to remember that these life's obstacles that you are facing right now are going to be the stories that you tell in the future that are fucking going to be incredible. The story of me, fucking how I share how I got fired, and then I started my own business, and then I did that for 5 years, 3 years self-employed. I wouldn't be able to say all that shit if I didn't go through the hardest moment in my life of getting fired and feeling like a fucking failure and going through drugs and alcohol and all those things. I wouldn't be able to come on this side and be like, I was, telling my story. I wouldn't have that story to tell people. A lot of what I do now comes from that story. All the hardships I share, which were fucking shitty times in the moment, are stories I now share being like, yeah, that shit fucking happened in my life, but I got into a solutions mindset and I did something about it and I overcame those life obstacles. So, some of those fucking hard obstacles, are going to be fucking epic stories in the future. And sometimes when obstacles or shit hits the fan, nowadays I'm like, cool, that's going to be fucking a cool story to share. Even if it's small, minor things, content, make some content about that. It's a story and fucking share it, because it fucking makes you who you are today. I'm glad all those life obstacles happened, in my life. I'm glad that I grew up fucking hating myself and going through all the things I went through, not being seen and heard, getting fired, going through drugs and alcohol, government housing, drugs and all the things around me and all the shit. I'm glad all that shit happened because it made me who I am today. A lot of people would look back and be like, fuck, that was fucking full on. And I'm like, nah, it's good. It made me who I am today. And it's those life obstacles that make you who you are today. And they make for a fucking incredible story. And they make you learn shit from it. A lot of shit, or who I am today, is lessons from those fucked up shits that happened, those fucked up things that happened, right? It's lessons. You learn a lesson. You look back in hindsight and be like, fuck, I did that. Fuck, I'm proud of myself. Look at me now. I'm fucking incredible. I can't believe I overcame that. I can't believe, all these things. So that's the podcast for today. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Ka kite koikia.